Hey, how it's going guys, you are watching FreeCloud Gaming YouTube channel. In today's video I will show you top 5 best open world games playable on Lowend PC with 2GB RAM and any dual-core processor. Note, all the above 5 games in this list are randomly listed, which means that the number of the game does not define the quality of the game. So now let's get started, but before the intro,
let's roll.
3, 2, 1.
On number 5 spot we have Saints Row 2. Saints Row 2 is a 2008 action-adventure game developed by Volition and published by THQ. It is a sequel to 2006's Saints Row and the second installment in the Saints Row series. The game was released in October 2008 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, January 2009 for Microsoft Windows, and April 2016 for Linux. The game takes place in the same fictional city as its predecessor, Stillwater, which is modeled after Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Baltimore, and has been expanded with new districts and buildings. Set 5 years after the events of Saints Row, the single-player story follows the same player-created protagonist, who awakens from a coma they had fallen into at the conclusion of the first game to find that their gang, the 3rd Street Saints, has been disbanded after losing all its territories to newly formed criminal syndicates and a corrupt corporation. Assuming the position of leader, the player character works to rebuild the Saints' strength by undermining their rivals and taking back their turf. Saints Row 2 is an action-adventure video game set in an open-world environment, offering the player a large open environment in which to move around. The player's character is capable of maneuvering through the environment, utilizing weaponry and engaging in melee combat warfare. Missions are unlocked by earning respect points from minigames and side missions, and although completing missions is necessary for game progression, players can complete them at their own leisure. The player is granted the option of instantly retrying the missions should they fail an attempt. Numerous checkpoints save progress in each mission, and missions can be replayed from locations within the environment. Aside from attempting missions, the player can explore the environment, purchase items at shops and participate in the aforementioned mini-games and side missions. Unreliable source? The player can also wreak havoc upon the city of Stillwater, which can provoke potentially fatal attention from authoritative forces. The player can recruit members from a friendly gang and use a mobile phone to contact friends and/or businesses, so definitely worth a try. On number 4 spot we have Mafia II. Mafia II is a 2010 action-adventure game developed by 2K Czech and published by 2K Games. It was released in August 2010 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. The game is a sequel to 2002's Mafia and the second installment in the Mafia series. Set within the fictional city of Empire Bay, loosely based on New York City, with several aspects of Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boston, and Detroit. During the 1940s and 1950s, the story follows Sicilian-American mobster and war veteran Vito Scaletta, who becomes involved in a power struggle among the city's mafia crime families while attempting to pay back his father's debts and secure a better lifestyle. The game is played from a third-person perspective and its world is navigated on foot or by vehicle. The player character's criminal activities may incite a response from law enforcement agencies, measured by a wanted system that governs the aggression of their response. There are 50 vehicles in the game as well as licensed music from the era. Depending on the weather during the course of the game, vehicles handle differently. For example, during the early chapters in winter, vehicles are more likely to slip on the road due to the ice. So definitely worth a try. On number 3 spot we have Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is an action-adventure video game developed by United Front Games and published by Square Enix. It was originally released for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and Microsoft Windows. Set in contemporary Hong Kong, the story follows Wei Shen, an undercover Chinese-American police officer on assignment to infiltrate the Sun On Yee triad organization. Gameplay focuses on Shen's fighting, shooting and parkour abilities, and on gadgets that can be used for combat and exploration. Sleeping Dogs is an action-adventure game set in an open-world environment and played from a third-person perspective. The player controls Wei Shen, a Chinese-American police officer who goes undercover and infiltrates the Sun On Yee triad organization. Shen navigates the world by running, jumping, climbing over obstacles, swimming, and driving cars, boats and motorcycles. The heads-up display (HUD) interface features a mini-map that indicates targets, key locations, safe houses and contact points, and Shen's current position. So definitely worth a try. On number 2 spot we have Grand Theft Auto 4. Grand Theft Auto 4 is a 2008 action-adventure game developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Games. Grand Theft Auto 4 is set within the fictional Liberty City, based on New York City. The single-player story follows Eastern European war veteran Niko Bellic and his attempts to escape his past while under pressure from loan sharks and mob bosses. The open-world design lets players freely roam Liberty City, consisting of 3 main islands. The game is played from a third-person perspective and its world is navigated on foot or by vehicle. Throughout the single-player mode, players play as Niko Bellic. An online multiplayer mode is included with the game, allowing up to 32 players to engage in both cooperative and competitive gameplay in a recreation of the single-player setting. Grand Theft Auto 4 is an action-adventure game played from a third-person perspective. Players complete missions, linear scenarios with set objectives, to progress through the story. It is possible to have several active missions running at one time, as some require players to wait for further instructions or events. Outside of missions, players can freely roam the game's open world and complete optional side missions. Composed of the fictional city of Liberty City, the world is larger in area than most earlier Grand Theft Auto series entries. At the beginning of the game, players can only explore the first island, composed of Dukes and Broker, with all other islands unlocking as the story progresses. So definitely worth a try. On number 1 spot we have Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 is a 2012 action-adventure video game developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii U, and Microsoft Windows. The plot is set in a fictional history of real-world events and follows the centuries-old struggle between the assassins, who fight for peace with free will, and the Templars, who desire peace through control. The framing story is set in the 21st century and features series protagonist Desmond Miles who, with the aid of a machine known as the Animus, relives the memories of his ancestors to find a way to avert the 2012 apocalypse. The story is set in the 18th century, before, during and after the American Revolution from 1754 to 1783, and follows Desmond's half-English, half-Mohawk ancestor, Morton Haketon, also known as Connor, as he fights the Templars' attempts to gain control in the colonies. Assassin's Creed 3 is set in an open world and presented from the third-person perspective with a primary focus on using Desmond and Connor's combat and stealth abilities to eliminate targets and explore the environment. Connor is able to freely explore 18th century Boston, New York City, and the American frontier to complete side missions away from the primary storyline. The game also features a multiplayer component, allowing players to compete online to complete solo and team-based objectives including assassinations and evading pursuers. Assassin's Creed 3 is a third-person action-adventure title set in an open world in which the player uses a combination of stealth, parkour, and combat to complete various missions. The player takes the role of 3 characters during the course of the game. The main character is Desmond Miles, a 21st century assassin, working to uncover the secrets of a mysterious precursor vault that will protect the Earth from an upcoming solar flare on December 21, 2012. To uncover the secrets, Desmond uses the Animus to live out memories of two of his ancestors which the player controls during these sequences, both set at the time of the American Revolutionary War. So definitely worth a try. So that's all for today's video, guys. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon, as it takes a lot of effort to make these kind of videos, and your support will motivate me to do more effort on my videos, and make even better content. And guys, meet you in the next video. Till then, stay home and stay safe, and most importantly, take care of yourselves. Bye.